Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the Spirits Business Hub. If we have seen you already, and if not, welcome for the first time. We are down to our penultimate seminar of Provine 2025, and it's great to see so many of you here with us today. Our next session is Raising the Bar, Trends, Challenges, and the Future of Cocktail Culture. And I'm super excited to have Kai Myhre with me. He's the founder of Cocktail Club. And it's a platform that's dedicated to raising the bar in cocktail culture and teaching consumers and professionals what they need to do to really elevate their bars, elevate their cocktails, and take that to the next level. And Kai, I'd love for you to begin with to give us a bit more insight into your background, your experience, and a bit more about Cocktail Club.
Thank you. And thank you guys for coming. I'm a big fan of the word yes. And that's why I'm an entrepreneur as well, but I say yes to challenges. But when it comes to hospitality, the word yes opens more doors than it closes, especially in hospitality. So when a bartender says yes after being asked if you can make something off the menu, or if a bartender says, yes, let me try and make you something, that comes all down to confidence. And that's where I come in. I walked into my cupboard 6 years ago after working in wine for 15 years. And I had like 10, 15 different spirit bottles. I was like, what am I going to do with these? So I went online and I tried to make a cocktail with it, and I failed big time. It tasted horrible. So that's when Cocktail Club was born 7 years ago. I've been working with getting yeses from different friends when I asked, do you want a drink? And more people are saying yes. But the word yes, especially in hospitality, it demands that you have some knowledge. Knowledge to actually use the product. Because people don't know how to use your product. If there are any spirit producers here, you might know. You guys are very good at selling, but we need to inspire them to use your products. That's what it's all about. So I love cocktails. I love saying yes, and I love entertaining. And that's what it's all about. Giving your friends, your guests, your producers your sales people the chance of selling more. And that's what it's ultimately about. We provide the digital solution for brands to connect with their customers. Use it as a tool, or use our traffic, use our technology in order to connect with them. And you do it in your way. It's just another tool, and you can connect in a powerful way. So I'll get into the details a bit later on. But in hospitality, we also have a training platform just launched 3 weeks ago for hotels, for bars and restaurants. And 3 chains have said yes, because there's a need for teaching bartenders to keeping the level at a consistent level, the quality at a consistent level. So we do consumer training and we do bartender training now. So it's a great tool for brands who don't want to use their time, resources to get to the level of teaching how to use their brand.
And it's such an important tool because the relationship between bars and brands is so important. The on-trade is so important in helping brands grow, particularly when you're new to the scene.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit more about that importance and how Cocktail Club helps to build those relationships further.
Well, having a knowledgeable bartender, if you guys are in the trade, you want them to actually front your products. How do you do that if they don't know too much about your products? So giving the right training with the right brand and the right recipes can enhance that level of connection with a bartender. But ultimately, it's all about the consumers, because they're saying yes. And if you get a knowledgeable bartender, he can do upselling. He can manage to give you alternatives that you actually increase the guest experience. And the guest experience is the ultimate selling tool. So right now we have a brand here, and our eminent Fabinho wants to give you a cocktail. So hands up if you want to taste red wine cocktails. Oh, you just got a big order. And Rido Wines, just to go into that, I'm jumping a bit there, but Rido Wines is a red wine producer, a wine producer, Italy's biggest wine producer. They just launched a product that is going to be used in different cocktails. And can you imagine a bartender without the knowledge on how to use this will not sell anything? So what we're doing over in hall 16, 15, 16, is giving the visitors and their distributors a chance to taste it. And if you see the flyer down there, we connect that experience with a digital learning solution. So it becomes their tool of choice to connect with their customers, bringing the chance of them obtaining it into their pockets. Secondly, when they come home and they probably have a bottle at home because they got it or they bought it, they can take a picture up with our app, and our AI connects to the recipes. So it's quite a powerful tool when it comes to consumption, directing brands to consumers and bartenders. Mm-hmm. And that's where we see the tool being used as a selling tool as well. Not just an information tool towards consumers who they really need, but they also need a selling tool for the brands.
Mm. And it's important as well because we see cocktail culture changes so quickly. It's such a creative industry. And in terms of key changes that you've noticed across the bar industry and the cocktail world, what are some of those trends and changes that you've seen?
Well, actually, this is where it comes into some facts that I have some notes here, but I'll try and remember it. You guys from the industry know that there's a major turnover of approximately 500 billion or 550 billion US dollars every year in spirits consumption or sales. But 95%, let's say, and 60% is consumed at home. 95% of those people consuming at home don't even know how to make a good gin tonic. Come on. That's the key to raising some sales, to actually get people to use the content of your bottle. But we're seeing interest in digital consumption. But it's not unified. Our platform conveys the film, the graphics, and it actually ensures that everyone of those 95% of the people can use it, because we use video, we present in a pedagogic, graphic way, and it actually works. We've got 2 million visits a year, we got 250,000 downloads of the app, and we see that they're recurring, they're coming in and seeing. So, to your question, we see a lot more interest in cocktail culture at home. Mm-hmm. And I think the wine producers are seeing that as well. Sorry to say, the traffic around here was much bigger than it was in the wine. So I saw that today. Secondly, we see an interest in digital learning at hotels, restaurants, and bars, because the level of consistency is very varying. So if you can actually tell the bartenders how to use your menu or change your menu and get a digital learning process on board, that's a trend that we will see grow. Learning how the people use your products, or learning how to set up a menu and actually using it, enhances the benefits for the bar or the restaurant itself. That's one thing. Lastly, we see low ABV. We see new products coming into the cocktail scene. And it really, really, really makes the difference for us consumers getting the chance of getting new experiences. Coming back to the yes. Do you want to taste this product that I'm making? Yes. It gives you a positive experience with the brand if you can make it correctly, both in a bartender setting and a consumer setting. So that's where we see some of the trends going.
Yeah, and just sticking with the low and no point you made as well.
Just need some water, sorry.
Sure, no problem. But with low and no, are you seeing demand from or a need from bartenders as well to seek advice and ways to use low and no in their cocktails better? Because it is difficult to make a very good quality cocktail without alcohol.
Well, low and no is here and it's growing, but I don't see it competing and taking over for a lot of the brands. It's just enhancing this experience. And we need to know that the new generation, especially my kids and upwards, from 20 and upwards, they're interested in something that tastes very good without the buzz. Sorry to say, they're missing out on a lot of fun when they're in that age. But it just takes the experience of quality and the experience of taste. We have kids learning how to cook. And our kit, which you see here, is also being sold to people who are at 14, 15, you know, and then they create different mocktail parties. We see this from our data and the distributors. So there's a lot of focus on taste. There's a lot of focus on having a good time with your friends and getting good at stuff. My daughter at 17 is great at mocktails, but she's really looking forward to turning 18 and 20.
Yeah. But I think that's where it's interesting is you can still enjoy an alcoholic version, and then if you have good quality non-alcoholic options as well, or lower alcoholic options, it goes back to this message that we've been trying to push in the industry for a long time, which is drink less but better. And that, I think, the moderation trend is something that we're seeing a lot grow as well. And you know, we've had the bar here for a few days, and we've had some great non-alcoholic options.
Yeah.
And I've had people come by, and you know, you're in the middle of a day of meetings, and you want to try something, but not necessarily have an alcoholic drink ahead of all your meetings, but to have a decent quality drink where you can cheers people, you can toast still, and still feel that level of sophistication, I think is really, really important to see.
Yeah, we see a trend towards producers looking into the non-alcoholic. I don't know if they're figuring it out all the time, but they're actually focusing on it. So I guess the producers here are seeing the trend as well, but looking into no and low, I guess it's a trend that's here to stay. In addition to the other traditional way of looking at cocktail culture.
Yeah, absolutely. And in your opinion, you know, we spoke a bit about consistency and the importance of creating good, consistent drinks. What makes a great drink for you?
It's the structure and the balance of all the flavors. You know, I come from the wine world. I've tasted whatever there is, and I'm sorry for my wine friends here, but I love still pairing wines, and I really like the handcraft of a good winemaker. But I wanted to be the winemaker myself. It's part of the solution. So I took what the winemaker does in the wine fields or in the process, and I did it in my kitchen bench. So I made a cocktail, and I became the winemaker. And my friends are just, hey, can you come over and make some drinks, please? And you can make it yourself. I'm trying to say, you download the app, do it yourself, get the ingredients. That's the stepping stone of what we're talking about.
Yeah. And when it comes to bars and brands using training programs to help elevate their serves, to create that knowledge and that information that we spoke about previously, Why is that important in terms of also driving sales? Like, how can that benefit your brand or your bar as a business?
Well, it speaks for itself. If you have a knowledgeable staff, he can do upselling. If you get your brands in front of a bartender, he can manage to create products that you as a customer wants and recommends forward. But knowledge in a bartender or staff or in a menu that's easy to read, you can actually give this chance of becoming a signature cocktail or a signature drink for your, but you can also recommend. And I'm not saying that you have to go in a low and no or a low price range. If you have the confidence of a good bartender and a good brand knowledge, you can upsell the best possible combinations. I don't make cheap cocktails at home because I don't drink that much. But when I first drink, I drink better, not more. And having the chance of using the best products goes back to the wine world again. I love a good wine. I like spending some time having it in my cellar. But then again, I really like getting the best possible products into my friends' palates. Mm-hmm. And going back to that again, the difference between wine is a pleasant ride, but then you have the roller coaster of taste going through your palate if you go into the cocktail world. It's just fun and it's just lovely. What I do now, I get friends over. I have instead of making a dessert when we have a dinner party, I make a liquid dessert. And it just makes the whole night better when they can get a little buzz as well. Sorry, alcohol is still important in some settings.
Absolutely. And I think I went to a couple of talks about low and no last year. And one thing I found was important to remember is that actually a lot of the no alcohol products are actually geared towards people who already drink alcohol. They're not made for non-drinkers. It's to provide a delicious option for people who want to have the flavor, but maybe not have the alcohol and have that buzz in that moment in time, or to switch out every other drink to make sure they're having a more moderate drinking experience. And that, I think, is what's interesting and important to also keep in mind when it comes to settings and situations. And then when it comes to that, how do you create a tailored experience for your customer?
Well, we give the tools to the customer, actually. We actually tell them, here are the tools. Do you want us to help you in setting up a tailored experience? People use our app. 2 years into this project, I was holding cocktail courses for people who came into our small shop where we sold this kit. And then I'm not a bartender. This guy's a bartender. He's a mixologist and he's creative, but I was holding it through the app. People were using the app and they were having a great time. And you know what happened? We used Bacardi products for the daiquiri. And then I went in Norway, we have the wine monopoly. I went to our local wine monopoly and I said, I need more Bacardi because we're doing a cocktail course. They said, oh, is it you? Who? I thought, the people are going crazy about Bacardi. Everyone wants to, buy the Bacardi bottles because this is where the level is in cocktail courses. If you're shown a product through a recipe that works and you get a great tasting experience, you feel like $1 million, you want to buy that product. And that's how you connect with your customers. And that's what we give our customers, like hotels, like bars. They actually start having cocktail courses. And you know what? It just widens the gap when they're selling cocktails because they invite different offices, they invite different groups, but they charge for every cocktail course and they start selling at 5 instead of 8 in the evening. So the interaction there is very important, and giving the tools like this without brands having to invest too much in this is so important.
And when it comes to education, we all know the importance of education. But from a consumer perspective, you know, if you're out at the weekend with your friends and you go to a good bar and you're ordering nice drinks, how important do you think education is when it comes to making a decision over what you drink?
This is the best selling point for us at all. I need some more water or a cocktail. Sorry. Cheers. The biggest brands out there, they have tested this out. And a high volume segment, every second saved is 20 cents increased in revenue. Remember this. There are a lot of seconds you can save if you get the right training. So increased revenue when there's a line like they were here yesterday, increased time or decreased time, increased revenue. That it's a basic fact because you can serve more and a quicker time. So in a high volume segment, get your training, get them to answer quickly and have the confidence to serve quickly. In a high quality area, get them to do the upselling, get the knowledge going about your brand and use it as a tool to attract more revenue through higher margin products, better quality products. And that's what we actually use our platform for.
And with the upselling, do you have any advice or tips on how to do that?
Oh, yeah, but I guess these people know a lot more about their products. But yes, descriptive language. We have Adrian Michalczyk, the winner of World Class 2022 as a partner and investor in our platform. He has a course for all the bartenders included in the hotel learning platform. And he has some good tips. Descriptive language. Come on, describe the ingredients. It's very easy for a bartender to actually use 2 seconds instead of saying, oh, it's a gin. No, this is a citrus flavored gin that enhances the experience of the cocktail when you use this and this. And then comparisons. Compare your products or the ingredients to other products that you know they just had. Don't let them say no. That's something you have to learn. And just a good point from our friend Adrian. This is nothing to do with upselling, but it has to do with the economics and the financials inside a business. Do the least expensive ingredients first. If you're making a dark rum sour or something, and sorry brands, I'm talking against you, you want to sell, but the spillage saving in having a good trained bartender is remarkable when you consider what they can save. Do the most expensive ingredient last because there's so many steps that can go wrong. The lime can be a bit off, the sugar can be a bit too much, and if you finish off with your $200 bourbon or whatever, you don't have to waste it if something goes wrong.
And what about things like quality ice, glassware? How do they factor into the equation?
We are at the stage where those are very important. We have this in our training program. Quality ice, it just speaks for itself. The temperature in the drinks is most important. The glassware, and having a neat and well-made drink in a good glass just makes the experience, and also the storytelling behind that. You can even talk about the ice, you can even talk about the glass, but it is important. The guest feels elevated and important, more important.
And it's also one of those things going back to, you know, upselling, but getting more people to order a drink. If your drink looks really good, I think probably everybody has done this, where you see it walk past or you see it served at the bar and you're like, that looks great. What's that? I want that drink. And so I think presentation and having those quality, it all comes together.
Yeah. One thing, guys, you know, the biggest drink, or the name of the most ordered drink out there is, and you guys know this, well, it's called Surprise Me. People don't know. Surprise me, please. Oh, what do you want? And the bartender goes, I've heard this before. Something sweet or something bitter. No, get the knowledge up there, do the upselling, start from scratch, get your team to recommend, and then then the guests will come after, your customers. If you elevate this, the more upselling you will do, the more products you will sell as well.
And great to build that connection to your customers as well and make them feel welcome and hopefully want to come back again for a second time or more. We're also told that consumers want a lot of experiences these days. They're not so much after material things. When they spend their money, they really want to feel like there's more value there from experiences. How can brands, bars, maybe retailers create more meaningful experiences for their customers? Like, what does that actually mean?
It means a lot. And I was talking about the mixing courses that hotels can do through our app, the restaurant bars, interactive menus, getting brand recommendations through menus is also a very big thing. Seeing that the customers need the experience through the bartender as well is the most important thing, because they are your most important customers in that line of work.
And what about sort of bringing that experience into the home as well? Is that something you're seeing people want? We talked about home mixology earlier.
Yeah, I thought I talked about it, but we see a lot of people wanting to do cocktails at home. And we made a kit, which is actually a small bar. That's our first product. This is a full bar with all the tools needed, and it acts as an ice well as well. So when it's in use. And this is some of the, he's an event manager as well. So he uses it extensively in his events, like we're with Riro Wines. It's very practical. Then you are connecting to the app, and it actually makes home bartending very, very, very easy to do. Much easier. And that's what we're doing. Lowering the threshold to get people to use your products.
Yeah. Where have you been recently where you feel you've had a really great cocktail and bar experience? Because there are some incredible bars around the world, but is there anywhere that you've been recent where you thought, these guys are nailing it?
Oh, yes. 6 years ago, I filmed a guy called Mark from Sips in Barcelona. And he managed, I was through the Mark Alvarez, through the process of him choosing the place in the world. He finally opened, and it was the best, rated the best bar in the world. And I was lucky enough to go there a couple of months ago, and my God, it's hospitality in a new level. You have to go there just to see what the 3-star Michelin service can feel like inside a cocktail bar. I don't have the money to go there every time, so it's actually a very, very nice experience when you're there and you have the chance. And we got into this crazy Singapore guy that treated us for, I think the receipt was this long, so I tasted all the cocktails there. And was lovely. So I want you to go there, and if you have a chance, or any other high-end bar that actually takes not only the drink, but the guest experience and the storytelling, what we've been talking about today, to another level. It just makes your evening enjoyable.
Yeah. What were some of the kind of key points from Sips that really made that experience feel special?
Well, when I was in the wine world, I was on the Michelin star restaurants, and I had the same, focus on me as a guest. And I've never been to those venues in that level. I have, but not that many. But just leaving for the men's room and coming back, and they've taken your cocktail into the freezer and giving it back when you come back. The road was the storytelling and the road through the experience. We start here and we finish here. They have a plan for everything. And I know the guys, so I was there a bit early. And the way they were talking to their employees and building the team, is remarkable. So we are very lucky to have we have our offices in Barcelona, so we're very lucky to have this level of bars in that city. It's probably one of the best cities in the world for bartending at the moment.
Yeah, I haven't been myself, but I hear such great things about Sips. I'm itching to go at some point. And you talked a little bit about how, we're in the same but different hall. There are a lot of smaller, up and coming, really exciting spirits brands in this hall, and how it's a little bit quieter on the wine side of things. And I think what I'm hearing a lot of is that wine is struggling a little bit to kind of retain that consumer interest and to gain new drinkers of wine. Do you think that spirits and cocktails could maybe teach wine a little bit more about that connection and about that, growing an audience and creating a bit more excitement?
Yeah, and we should have the Riro people up here and fishing them, but that's fine. They're learning from the cocktail world, and it's all about experience.
Yeah,
it's all about storytelling and building a brand. We have numerous stories about how a brand was, invested in by a well-known brand and tripled the prices, and then they sold everything. So it's about branding and getting the message across, but it's also how you produce your products and how you market it and who you target in my world. There are many cocktails that you can use wine in, guys, but not very many take it to that level where you actually go into making something for the wine, for the cocktail world as well. And that's a smart move. So I think the symbiosis between those two worlds can be explored by the wine world, because it's all about getting people around the table, and the drinks in the middle are the stepping stone for having a great time together. That's what it's all about. Having a nice drink in the middle, it's getting the people together, and that's where we're ultimately going.
Yeah, I think it's great that you've answered that, because someone else in another session was also saying how sometimes it feels a little bit like wine is wine and spirits are spirits, but actually there's a lot that can be done if we maybe, share a bit more information, share a bit more advice and ways of doing things.
Yeah.
And everybody benefits from that.
I think it's also important that, and we were on the AI tour here, the wine and spirits business is 15 years behind other industries when it comes to digitalization. You have to embrace. 3 years ago, I was around in a similar setting, and they were going, no, we don't need any digital recipes. No. Today, it's completely different. The people I'm talking to say, yeah, we need it. Because the world is getting to a place where you actually need to be represented in multiple channels. But you don't have to invest too much in it, because there's so many positive things going on in this world. You just need to embrace the thought of going into it. And there are companies like ours that are in different settings, but we deliver and we're here for brands. We're not here for doing it ourselves. Think about Facebook when they started. Brands and businesses have thrived in a Facebook environment. So you have to think like this. You should not be afraid of your competitors coming on board on a digital platform. Use it as your tool to reach out. Remember, the people going into Cocktail Club, they're interested in cocktails. It's not a random person going in. They want to have some cocktail-related stuff they can make out of. And that's why we're here. Without the big investment, without the big effort, we deliver a channel for you. So that's my selling points today.
Yeah. Kai, I have one last question, and then we're going to open it up for some questions from the floor. What are the big trends that you think are going to be key when it comes to cocktails in 2025?
I think the experiences that people pay for a bit more, like Sips experience. I think you're going to see more and more businesses going into the experience of guests coming in. setting the pace in seamed situations. And I think storytelling is much more important in the time coming regarding the ingredients, but also the brands. Brands are great at making good cocktails, or no, good products, and then the storytelling needs to be combined into that.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Kai. We do have some time for some questions. If there's anything you would like to ask, Sophie's going to come to you with a microphone.
Questions?
Nothing difficult, thank you. First of all, thank you to the artist up there. That is a really delicious cocktail. It's fantastic.
And the Rido wine. Yay!
So my question, a couple of years ago, I went to the Lake District to a really nice 5-star hotel. They do a lot of wedding business there. A beautiful bar, back bar, all the brands you can think of. Their menu had sort of 15 signature cocktails on there. And to my almost shock, every single one of those 15 was ready to serve out of a bottle. And I did ask, and I said, why do you do this? And they said, well, number one, it's the sheer turnover of the speed of when we have to serve things, especially in a sort of wedding environment. Number two, I just can't get the staff post-COVID who know their stuff, so I had to do this. What's your feeling about RTS? Is this a sign of things to come in an on-premise environment, or are you against it? What's
I'm not against it because SIPs do actually a lot of pre-work in their cocktail, but they make it in the same. It's all about the process. Himkok, one of the 17 best bars in Norway, nearly have all pre-batched. So it's all about the drinking service. For bars, there's always that customer that wants something extra. So the teaching model is not, it's just a focus on quality, and the learning process is still just as important, because we include routines, task lists, and what to do as a bartender in order to elevate that service reputation of the bar. But ingredients as well is also important in the pre-batching. So they need to know what works, and they need the learning process in order to make a pre-batch as well. Pimping your pre-batch is something that people do, because the Negroni they buy from a can is a bit lame, or they're putting some we know this, but I don't have anything against it. There's always someone who wants to become a home bartender or a better bartender. So there's it's all about the drinking experience anyway.
Thank you.
I had a bit of a similar question. So we're from Funkin' Cocktails, and we've been supplying fruit purees for over 25 years in the UK particularly. And what's quite unique about the UK is they have pub groups. And the trend that we're seeing is draft cocktails. And that's quite a concern, because draft cocktails are a bit different to pre-batch. Any thoughts on the trend of kind of draft cocktails?
Well, it's all about what he was in with stuff, getting stuff. I know that draft cocktails are great for high volume venues, and I don't mind it. When we look at the market that we're in, people want to get a quick service, but they will also need an elevated serve at some point as well. But for me, just enjoy the world of cocktails. Either it comes from a draft or from pre-batched. It's just going to focus on the great taste that lime, sugar, and great rum or whiskey or whatever can give you in that sense. It's a big world. It's open for everyone, even though you think, and I guess the wine industry is seeing that, I'm a bit against draft cocktails, maybe even the beer, because you can get to a level of getting the buzz from a draft cocktail much easier if you're into having a great time out. And that's a good part of someone's weekend, is getting that draft cocktail. So I'm not against it.
I'd maybe also add to that. I think it's a really interesting move. And I think it comes back to what we've been saying about quality and consistency. And I think for particular venues, it can be so useful to have a ready to serve product or a ready, cocktails on draft, to have that consistency, particularly if you're really high volume.
Yeah.
And also opens up more connection with the customer as well. If you're not, if your strength as a venue isn't necessarily making all different cocktails, that's not your kind of USP as a venue. Maybe in a pub setting, for example, having that something on draft, the quality's good, you have more time to spend with your customer. And I think that is one of the benefits. It's time saving, which you also talked about, and the consistency as well.
Yeah, and we want to create cocktails for our customers. A hotel chain just in Madrid just joined us, but they want to use our platform for creating their own cocktails. That's fine. We're missing out on some creative cocktail making, but we're giving them a tool, and we're giving it also to consultants as a channel for them to manage their hotels and bars. So it's actually a giving away, but we're providing the channel for them to utilize their creativity and their quality. So it actually makes sense.
Thank you very much for all your sharing. And we are producing vodka. It is premium brand, and we are sharing in Instagram cocktails receipt. I liked very much what you said about digitalization. What could you advise? Maybe some recommendations to us.
In Instagram or in
In Instagram, what can we do more? Maybe
we've done all the bad parts in Instagram, which is our main channel. We've gone through him cycling on a bicycle with no hands, mixing a cocktail in Barcelona, to different strategies that we've tested out. He's a great cyclist and a mixologist and a barista and a DJ and everything. So talk to him later. But you have to find a strategy where you need to collect data from your activities. And the data, get your the well-known or the good guy to look into your Instagram. We've grown to 96,000 followers on Instagram without paying too much. We do push some recipes, but we're focusing on recipes. We collected data to see this is the big trend. We're not a food or clothing brand, but we know where we get. So collect your data, get the Instagram office connection, and see what works, and do beta testing. And get the right people on board. We manage some of our clients' Instagram marketing, and we're advising them. We know what works, and they're asking us to do collaborations. So we publish different recipes with different brands and get a lot of attention because there are different stages in the Instagram journey. One is awareness, then there's retention, and then there's action. You have to know what you're doing. I don't know too much about it, but our staff does. And then get the right people on board.
I'm sure Kai's going to be sticking around with us for a little bit. So if you do have anything you'd like to speak to him about, I'm sure he'll be happy to
Without
chat
the
with you.
microphone. Yeah.
Yes. But thank you so much, Kai, for taking the time for us. Please put your hands together for Kai Myhre.